Previously, during the first part of this adventure, I traveled to Eastern Nevada to meet up with my good friend Jim and his buddies Lance and Larry. These guys have been wheeling together for 40 years, and I was fortunate to join them as they showed me some of their favorite spots to explore out in this area. Some old ghost towns, old mines, and some very scenic trails. We encountered snow on a mountain as it was getting dark, forcing us to play it safe and backtrack. But we found some amazing campsites, cooked up some delicious meals, and just enjoyed some good camaraderie around the campfire. On this next leg of our adventure, we traveled deeper into the Eastern Nevada backcountry in search of some old abandoned cabins and mines, and interesting historical sites from the early 1900s. We make a quick resupply in a small mining town, and keep our eyes out for the next place to set up camp. I even cook up a meal for the guys, but it didn't go quite as planned. Join us on part 2 of our Eastern Nevada adventure. I woke up to a majestic sunrise that painted everything with a warm golden glow. It was beautiful. It was also cold and frosty, but thankfully, with 2 pots of coffee brewing and Larry getting the fire going, we were slowly beginning to thaw out. We were in no big rush this morning, and it was nice to take our time, enjoying a slow start to the day, hanging out around the campfire, and chatting about our adventures so far. I enjoyed hearing stories of all the adventures these guys have had hitting the trails together over the last 40 years, and I could have listened to them all day. Between the 3 of them, they have a wealth of off-road and camping experience, and I was learning quite a bit from them. Jim volunteered to take on breakfast duty, and sausage and egg burritos were on the menu. Speaking of learning a lot, he had a clever idea I'll be using in the future. Before leaving for this trip, he cracked a dozen eggs and put them in a plastic peanut butter jar. This prevents them from breaking in your fridge or cooler while you're out on the trail. Plus, he pre-seasoned them. What a great idea. It was a hearty and delicious meal, and there was plenty of food for seconds. What a great way to start our day.
Looks good, Jim. Seconds.
Last night was a chilly one. It was in the mid-20s last night, and when we woke up this morning, there was ice on just about everything on the outside, a nice little frost everywhere, but there was actually ice on the inside of my tent from the condensation from me breathing. So we've had to let everything kind of dry out in the sun now that it's started to warm up, and warming up is relative. It's still in the low 40s this morning, but we've had a great morning. You know, we had the campfire, we had some coffee, we had some good breakfast, and just some good camaraderie around the fire this morning. It was great. Now we are going to be heading out and going to go explore many mines this morning out in Pioche, and then we're going to go fuel up and go look for a camp spot and maybe get to camp a little early tonight. And I have dinner duty tonight, but we got plenty of trail to see, and I'm excited to go check out some of these cool mines. These guys have told me some stories, so we should see some cool stuff today. Before we hit the trail, we were sure to make sure our campfire was completely extinguished. Just a good reminder, always take the time to completely put out your campfire. It could help prevent a wildfire. We are booking right along, and Lance decided, hey, let's go explore some of these areas that we haven't been on our way to the mines, and we're all like, yes, let's go do that. And we are booking right along down these really nice, smooth trails. And it's one thing I'm noticing is these trails are not nasty washboard roads. They're really nice and smooth, and you can just fly down them. It's really, really nice, and it's beautiful up here. I mean, I can't tell you guys, I didn't expect Eastern Nevada to be this spectacular. I love it up here. I think this is a place worth coming back to. So we were just driving along up on this mountain ridge and we saw these old mines and cabins down here. So we're just gonna kind of go on foot and just go investigate a little bit. Might be worth checking out. So Jim, you've been here before, but you said this was a while ago. How long ago was that?
That was 25 years ago when we first found this place. And we camped down here by that steel building, and some people slept in it, and it was windy as a banshee. And the whole place shook. It was like ghosts were just rattling the walls. It was pretty spooky.
That's cool. Pretty surreal to be back then,
well,
huh?
we had a big bonfire. There's a big mine down below. We'll walk down there.
All right, right on. Now, we didn't have any information about this old mine, but it looks like it was a very large operation at its time. This mine shaft here was large enough to drive a truck through, and we came across this old shed that had hundreds of core samples. I'm pretty sure this place was bustling once upon a time. Back on the trail for a bit, these guys have another old mine they are excited to show. This is the old Comet Mine, where silver was discovered around the 1880s. Through the years, this mine produced silver, lead, gold, zinc, and tungsten right up until the 1950s. Today, there are many structures and buildings in this area still standing, but we especially liked the massive machinery that still resides in the hoist house. This hoist was used to raise miners and ore in and out of the tunnel below. If you walk around further, you'll see plenty of other remains of the operations here. This is a place worth visiting if you make your way out here. We just left the old Comet Mine, and I gotta say, so far that has been my favorite stop on this trip. I just love seeing those old structures, but for me, It's the big industrial machinery that they used way back then for mining that's still there. Is very cool. Some of you may know when I first joined the Navy, for the first couple of years, I was actually a boiler technician before I became a corpsman. And so I have kind of an affinity for, you know, the big industrial pumps and boilers and machinery. I just love that stuff. And to see it still standing and in pretty good condition is pretty neat. So I really enjoyed that. Now we are backtracking the way we came to this mine, and we're on our way to Pioche and eventually, hopefully grab some lunch because we're getting pretty close to lunchtime. I have to admit, I've been having a blast driving through the snow today. We have been hauling and just having fun. Now, we just dropped down into the old mining town of Pioche, and I have to say, this is a beautiful old small town. It's gorgeous out here. Now, we're going to top off fuel here, and then we're gonna head into town, grab something to eat, and kind of adjust our plan of attack and kind of see where we're gonna end up today and tomorrow. After topping off our fuel tanks one last time before we venture deeper off the grid, we spent a little time driving around Pioche. Pioche, Nevada is a small mining town that was settled in 1864 when a silver mine was opened up here. And by 1870, this was the largest silver mining town in Nevada. Because of its remote location, Pioche had a reputation for being one of the roughest towns in the Wild West. Today, there are over 1,000 residents living here, and for many visitors, it's a great getaway town for those looking to trout fish, hunt, and venture off into the backcountry. We made a short stop at the Overland Saloon to take a moment and grab a quick bite to eat while the guys took a hard look at the maps to sort out time and distance for the next part of our journey. I gotta tell you, I have been having a blast these last few days with these guys. These guys are so awesome to hang out with, and the amount of knowledge that they have about this entire region is pretty impressive. I mean, 40 years of wheeling out here is pretty cool. So we just left Pioche, and after hanging out at that Overland Saloon and figuring out some mapping over the next couple days, I think we've got everything dialed in. These guys have got it pretty well set. Right now we are on the hardball, and we're going to a pretty cool location, I'm told, where we're going to find camp. So we've got about 30-45 minutes of driving, and then we'll be hitting the dirt and looking for a cool place to camp. And there's a very unique little structure that we're going to check out while we're there. We had been on the trail for about an hour and eventually arrived to our next stop, which were these 3 old charcoal kilns. In the 19th century and earlier, charcoal was used for furnacing fuel because it burned more slowly than wood and created a much greater heat that was needed for refining ore out in these mines. So they would bring wood here and turn it into charcoal. Today, these are falling apart. And it does look as like some brave souls in the past may have camped inside some of these to escape the wind, but I'm not sure I would trust these old stone structures anymore. I will add that the colorful moss that was growing on the back sides of these kilns that is mostly shaded from the sun during the day was like a painting by Mother Nature. Just down the road, and we arrived to an old abandoned cabin where we decided to hold up for the night. Alright guys, this is camp for the night. We're going to use this old cabin as some shelter because it's pretty windy out here. But what a cool spot. And check out all the mountain views behind us. It's beautiful out here. You can see those kilns way off in the distance over there. Finding old rustic abandoned cabins like this out in the desert these days is a true treasure. Many have gone by the wayside as time and weather have taken their toll on them. When you do come across one like this, please treat it with care and respect. Tonight, this is going to be a great shelter for us to get out of the wind and cook a meal. And while Larry, Lance, and I will be sleeping outside in our tents, Jim is going to actually sleep inside the cabin. All right, everyone, it is very windy outside, but I just wanted to give you a peek inside the Shift Pod tent. So I have a Browning minus 30 degree sleeping bag, and under there I've got just a little Sea to Summit sleeping pad. And this sleeping bag is unbelievably warm. It's big and bulky, but it keeps me warm. But check out the view from the tent. Oh yeah. And there is a very dirty JK. And there is the cabin we're going to hang out in tonight. As the sun set behind the distant snow-covered mountains and the temperatures outside beginning to drop, we took advantage of the still functioning fireplace in the cabin by starting a fire, grabbing our chairs, and sharing more stories from previous adventures and telling stories from this one.
Right, so it was good.
It was beautiful. It was tight. It was tight. It was tight and narrow and windy.
Yeah, we had to worry about a little bit of stuff, you know. I was at one point worried about the Jeep might flop into the tree, so luckily that didn't.
Well, you got three wheels a couple times.
Yeah, that was definitely fun.
It's a little after 6 o'clock. The sun has gone down, and it is very chilly out. But being inside this old rustic cabin with the fireplace going is awesome. It's very nice. Now, I have dinner duty tonight, and the natives are getting hungry, so I'm going to feed them. And my wife has given me the recipe to make her chili mac, which she made at camp recently. It's very easy to make. And so we've got some kidney beans, some beef broth, some diced tomatoes, some tomato paste, some garlic, some ground beef, onion, and the most important thing is some ready-made pasta. So I don't have to cook the pasta. I just throw it in there, mix it up, and it's all good to go. We've got an onion, and we're going to have a whole lot of chow, a nice, hearty, hot meal, which is going to be great tonight. So I'm going to get started.
I guess we're lucky married women that want to spend. So you gotta do sometimes just do it or go someplace.
All right, let's be honest. I know a lot of you are surprised to even see me cooking at camp, but the truth is I do cook from time to time, but I'm very thankful that my wife Regina put this recipe together. However, I did forget one thing. So there are a couple spices. We've got some chili powder, some cumin, and some smoked paprika that go into this dish. And she was very nice. She gave me line by line how many teaspoons and everything. And did I bring any measuring spoons? Nope. So here goes. We're just going to put some chili powder in here, and hopefully it's okay. Oh yeah, that makes it really slick. Yeah. I think it was
Well, Brad, it's good to know that you can feed yourself in a camp without Marco.
I know people don't believe it.
We'll judge the quality here in a moment.
I'm a little nervous because Jim's probably going to be brutally honest.
Marco, you got nothing to worry about.
As he takes another bite and steps off. So it's not too bad?
Of course it's not too bad. It's good.
Honest answer?
Honest answer.
It's very good.
Oh, right on.
Very good.
Regina gets most of the credit.
That's good stuff, Mater. Yeah, it really is. Very.
It may be very cold outside, but mornings like this, way out in the middle of nowhere, with beautiful scenery everywhere you look, and spending this time with good friends is what makes the adventure to distant places like this all worth it. Larry took breakfast duty this morning, and we were all admiring his biscuit steam tray setup that he had designed. What a great do-it-yourself project that allowed us to have some savory biscuits and gravy this morning.
What's the biscuits? I've got a couple, I got these that are already torn in half.
Oh, that's perfect.
And there's butter over in the coffee pot over there. If you want to pour
No,
butter over.
it's gonna go straight for the goodness. That smells so good. Perfect. Thank you, sir.
One more?
No, it's good right there. Thank you. All right. Oh, yeah. It smells so good. Boy, nothing like biscuits and gravy on a brisk morning like this. Let's give this a try. Oh, that's good and peppery. A lot of flavor in there. Nice job, Larry. Thanks for making breakfast.
You're welcome.
Fill it up. It's got a microfilter built into the spout, so when the water comes out, it's filtered. You can pressurize it, but it's been a very brisk morning out here in eastern Nevada, but nothing that a hot cup of coffee and a warm breakfast couldn't remedy. And as we were sitting around having coffee and breakfast this morning, we were noticing that, the last few days, we haven't seen a single person out on the trail. We've seen a few tracks, but we have not come across anybody. And to be out here for that period of time and not see a soul, that's pretty awesome. We are definitely remote out here, and I think this is an amazing place to come out and do some more exploring. I am very thankful for Jim, Larry, and Lance to have shown me some of their favorite spots. I think this is a place worth coming back to. Now today, we're going to be heading about 200 miles west to a town called Tonopah, and we've got to lay down some hard miles, and we're going to be kind of pushing our limits with fuel, but it should be a pretty good trip. But we're going to end this video right here, and I think this has been a pretty good introduction to eastern Nevada, so hopefully you have enjoyed hanging out with us and experiencing this. This has been a great adventure. A huge thanks to those guys for putting this together. If you haven't been over to TrailRecon.com, go check it out, and again, come out to eastern Nevada. You will love it. Thanks for watching.